snakes alive.
I'm holding
in
up
this
my sign
series.
to our camera. Alex can't see it, but I'm holding up the sign to my individual camera for later so the people know snakes alive.
Are we ready to check in with Alex Weiner, live from Citizens Bank?
I got a shoulder tap from Felisa. I'm just going to turn around real quick. Felisa. Okay, I got a thumbs up from Felisa. I'm looking at Alex. Can I get a thumbs up from Alex just to make sure he's good to go?
I love that you're on video chat with him. This is radio, bro.
I mean, you can join this video chat too.
Oh, I can?
I told you not to because I don't want the sound going back. But
fair enough.
All right, let's not waste any more time. Alex Weiner, our lead Diamondbacks writer for Arizona Sports and one half of the Ain't No Fang podcast, which, if you're listening to that right now, hi, welcome. I'm invading. Alex, the Diamondbacks are going to the World Series. Go.
Wow. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, it's a crazy story. It's a great story. I mean, for a team that battled back from being as low as you can get with 110 losses to kind of build yourself back up and then kind of be like the embodiment of just to get in and see what happens, to accomplish something like this, it's incredible. And, ton of emotion obviously down there in the clubhouse after the game with the celebrations. And I mean, just this game, they were just the better team for the last couple of games, and it was going to be a tall task to be down 3-2 in a series, come into Philadelphia, win both games on the road in this environment. But they were the better team in both games. And tonight, just the execution was there as far as, getting guys in, some runners in scoring position with runners on base. The bullpen was terrific again. Brandon Pfaadt did a good job of sort of bending but not breaking with his outing. And going to the World Series, it's crazy to think about, especially given sort of the ups and downs of their regular season. But can you imagine thinking after the 9-game losing streak in August that they'd be going to the World Series? But it's one of those things. I think I've said it before, but at their best, they proved that they can beat the best, and they played close to their best baseball the last couple of days and got it done.
I was going to ask you some questions about the game, but I just want to tangent for a second because you mentioned the clubhouse celebration. You're actually looking pretty dry. How did the champagne celebration go from your perspective?
It was more beer than champagne, I will say that. But there was a moment where Geraldo Perdomo wiped off his phone on my jackets. That was fun. The jacket's definitely more wet than the sweater is. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, no, it was cool being down there. Definitely a ton of cigar smoke, but definitely deserved.
I feel like as much as it would have been great for the Diamondbacks to win this series at home, we obviously know they didn't have home field advantage, but it almost feels sweeter to do it in Philadelphia, not just to stick it to Philadelphia fans, but to prove that you can overcome the difficult environment that they provide in Philadelphia. It's one of the best in baseball. It's one of the best in sports. And the fact that the Diamondbacks were able to win the last two games back up against the wall in an environment like that, I think speaks volumes of this team. And moving forward into the World Series, they're going to need to be able to win games on the road.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was Mike Hazen speaking to us after the game. That was one of the messages there, is if you want to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to win games in environments like this. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, this crowd, it was very different the first two games compared to the last two games. And the Diamondbacks, in game 6 to jump on them early and then never relent, that changed the atmosphere. In this game, they got down 2-1 and grabbed the lead right back, added to it. And then it was just growing tension and frustration down the stretch of this game for the fans. And some people were leaving before the game was even over. It just kind of felt like it was over. And just a ton of poise from the younger guys. I mean, Corbin Carroll, monster game. Gabriel Moreno comes through again. Brandon Pfaadt, like I mentioned, not his best, but he got a ton of swing and miss. He struck out 7 guys and he got out of a few jams. So yeah, it was just another huge day for the younger players, and to do it in this kind of a stage, it proves that they can win anywhere. And now they'll go to Texas, which will be a little bit different. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit, but yeah, it was a heck of a performance, to say the least.
Alex Weiner, our lead Diamondbacks writer, joining us from Citizens Bank Park in Philly, where it's been empty probably for a few hours, I would say, because fans, as you mentioned, wanted to get a head start. I want to ask.
There was a couple hecklers when they were on the stage getting the trophies. That's for sure.
Boo-hoo! They're a bunch of crybabies. Anyway, I want to ask you about Ketel Marte, who we talked about last night, and how meaningful he's been to this run. And he got literally rewarded with it tonight with the NLCS MVP. What does it say about where Ketel has come from to get to this point where he is right now.
Yeah, he was kind of the no-brainer pick, right? I mean, huge series. He extends his hitting streak today. Tough few at-bats to start his game, admittedly, but delivers a double that leads to them getting an insurance run. And I mean, Ketel, the first offseason that Mike Hazen takes over and that front office takes over, they trade for Ketel Marte and Taijuan Walker. And, he's been a mainstay on this team, and it hasn't always been the smoothest. A tremendous 2019. 2020 was weird. 2021, 2022, he kind of played through some injuries. He missed a ton of games in 2021. This year he's been healthy, and you can kind of see what a fully healthy season from Ketel Marte looks like. And, he's counted on at the top of the lineup, and, throughout these postseason, when he's given the opportunity, he comes through.
We're talking to Alex Weiner live from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia after Game 7, as the Diamondbacks will head to the World Series, and so will Alex, who's covering the team for us on the road. No matter where they end up going, Alex goes with them. Alex, let's talk about the bullpen and the dominance that they've provided. Can you just walk everybody through how the Diamondbacks went from having one of the most average bullpens in baseball throughout the regular season, and all of a sudden we get into September and then October and postseason baseball, and it's one of the most lockdown bullpens there is in the game right now?
Yeah, it's crazy how they did it. I mean, it's totally unorthodox how they did it, and it was pretty savvy. So, to start off the season, obviously they go in without a closer. They do closer by committee. They brought in Andrew Chafin and Scott McGuff and Miguel Castro, and you're right. It had its ups and its downs, struggling in the ninth inning. So they get Paul Sewald at the trade deadline. That moves Kevin Ginkel into the permanent setup man role, because at that point he was really coming on, got a couple of saves at that point. And then they kind of lucked out in finding Ryan Thompson, who was let go by the Tampa Bay Rays and has been a revelation for the Diamondbacks as sort of the sixth or seventh inning guy. They call up Andrew Saalfrank in September, and all of a sudden the bullpen that looked a little shallow has got a legitimate back end that's, good enough to make the World Series. And tonight it was tremendous. And Kevin Ginkel, I mean, to come in, gets a couple of outs after he's put into a tough situation. Saalfrank, tough series for Andrew Saalfrank. He gets the first strikeout, walks the next two guys, including the 9-hole hitter, Christian Pache, who came in as a pinch hitter. And Kevin Ginkel comes in, for Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, I mean, of all people, and gets the job done. Those two went 0 for 8 in this game, and that was a big reason why the Phillies lost. And Ginkel comes back out again and strikes out the side, slider, to end all three strikeouts. So another just monster performance from him. Sewald comes in, and again, Sewald clean. He has been awesome for them this postseason. I mean, that's his 6th save of the postseason. So it's a unit that needs to be good in order for them to go as far as they want to go, and it's been everything they could have hoped for.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm being somewhat picky, and we're very much in a celebratory mood. Of course, they're going to the World Series, but at the same time, the Diamondbacks are going to the World Series. This was not a perfect series for Arizona, so focusing just on what areas they need to focus on the most, if you were to pick one, what do you think they need to work on the most before facing Texas on Friday?
I don't know if work on necessarily. Obviously, they lost 3 to 4 games started by Zach Allen and Merrill Kelly. You wouldn't think that would happen again.
Right.
So we'll see what they get out of Zach Allen. Again, he pitched pretty well in his first 2 postseason games against the Brewers and Dodgers. It just not a great series execution-wise for him. And, offensively, not everybody got going. It's a tough series for Christian Walker. Tough series for Tommy Pham, except for the home run. So, a couple of those guys get going, then, you're looking a lot better. I think they looked a lot more like themselves the last couple of games, just in how they were playing. They got the running game going. They were moving guys over. Today, especially, I mean, that was a huge focal point in this game. And Corbin Carroll came alive, made a couple of tweaks with the bat, and had a 3-hit performance and a sacrifice fly. So as long as he's humming at the top of the lineup, if they can get some more out of some of those middle of the lineup guys, and then, with their aces pitch a little bit better. I guess Merrill Kelly was quite good, especially in Game 6. But if they get a little bit more out of Gallen, then there's room there that we've seen all season. So it's nothing too far fetched.
We're talking with Alex Weiner. He's our D-backs insider at Arizona Sports. He joins us live from Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia after Game 7. Alex, I know you've been hyper-focused on the D-backs and the NLCS, but what do we know about what is awaiting them in the World Series facing the Texas Rangers? What do they do well? What do we know about them?
Yeah, I feel like I haven't gotten to watch that series much. I mean, just with how it's been timed. I'm gonna have to go in and watch all those games tomorrow, probably. But yeah, but they've seen the Texas Rangers a couple of times this season. Remember, that was Brandon Pfaadt's debut, was earlier in Arlington.
That's right.
Wow, full circle.
I know, no kidding. First game, potentially last game of the season. So they've seen him a couple of times. The Rangers came to Chase Field for a 2-game series. I believe that was in September, maybe late August, that might have been in August. It was in the final 2 months of the season. Another, very good lineup they spent a lot of money on a lot of some big boppers there with, Corey Seager, especially, who had a tremendous season, Mark Semien, who continues to be a solid player, and Adolis Garcia was, the man of the hour for them in the ALCS. They're going up against a rotation that has had its injuries, but right now Nathan Eovaldi's shoving like as good as you would want anybody to, and Jordan Montgomery, who a potential trade target for the Diamondbacks reportedly at the deadline. He comes over to the Rangers, and he's been terrific for them. So it's a good top end of the rotation. It's a good lineup. It's going to be another tough challenge.
You mentioned a bunch of names, but if you had to just pick one guy from the Rangers that you in particular are going to be watching very, very closely to see how they perform in this series, who is it and why?
Again, I'd have to watch a lot of their games over the next couple of days to get a better feel for that. I guess Nathan Eovaldi, just because I know he had a good season. He got hurt working his way back, and then to be as terrific as he was in the ALCS, I mean, he gave them ace-like stuff. So I think it would probably be Eovaldi, but again, yeah, I'm ask me more Rangers questions maybe tomorrow night or into Thursday.
I'll respect the process. You're a big
you.
film watcher, Alex. I'll respect the process. No problem there.
Fair enough. We're talking to our D-backs insider, Alex Weiner. Doesn't cover the Texas Rangers at ArizonaSports.com. Poor Alex has to watch more baseball games tomorrow for his job.
Hey, are you following the team straight to Arlington, or are you coming back for one stay?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going straight to Arlington. I mean, it would be a little silly to fly to Arizona just to turn around like the next morning and fly to Arlington.
And the team is going straight there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I saw Torey Lovello say something about, I hope all the fans show up at the airport to greet us. He might be talking about coming home for Game 3 on Monday. That might be what he's talking about.
Which they definitely will do.
Maybe that's something I have to double check then.
Yeah, fair enough. No worries.
I thought they were.
Yeah, I thought they would too. That game is very quickly approaching Game 1 on Friday. Hey, Alex, thanks so much for checking in with us after all these road games. I think it's awesome that you get to travel with the team and cover all this stuff for us on the road. We really appreciate your time, your efforts, and we'll see you for the World Series. How about that?
I know. Isn't that crazy? All right, see you, boys.
All right, Alex.